Hello! This video is going to teach you how to create a 3-color single spiral bracelet. The 3-color single spiral has 3 different colors, which you'll get to choose. And you can see when you turn it, it creates a corkscrew effect. It's called 3-color because you pick 3 colors, obviously. And then it's called single because you're only going to have 1 strand of each. I have a green, I have a pink, and a purple. You'll be able to select your own colors. We always pick 36 inches for strands for our bracelets because if we have a little bit extra, it's okay. We can always cut that off, but we don't want to end up too short. To get started, we're going to line up our 3 threads together, and we're going to leave a little bit of a tail because we're going to want something to tie at the end of creating our bracelet. We just wrap all 3 of the strands around our finger at the same time, which obviously creates a loop. We can pull those ends through and just tie it in a knot. You can see that I've left some tails there for the end. My knot's going to hold it to secure, and then I'm going to tape it down. I have this white piece of paper here on my workspace, and that's just so you can see my colors. Any type of tape will do. Masking will make it a little bit stronger for you, but I happen to have some Scotch tape on hand, so that's what I'm using. Go ahead and separate your colors out, just so that they lay down nicely for you. And then decide which color is going to be on top first. I've decided that my green is going to be on top first, so I'm going to gather my pink and my purple together. And then I'm going to take my green and I'm going to make what's called a left knot. You can see that when I bend this thread over my other 2 threads that it's kind of making a number 4 and it's pointing to the left. These 2 threads are not going to be doing anything right now. They're called drones. So we're just going to kind of hold them taut. I'm doing that with my leg. You could, maybe some people I've seen pin it to their pants, but you just don't want them to be too slack because then otherwise your knots aren't going to be tight enough. So once I've created this number 4, I'm going to lift my drones and pass that green thread through the hole that I made. Holding my drones taut, I'm going to just sort of pull up and give it a little jiggle so that that knot stays secure. I'm going to keep making a left-hand knot over my 2 drones until I've decided that I don't want green to be on top anymore. So you could count how many times if you want it to be very evenly spaced, or you could just eyeball it. So my drone stays still. I make that number 4 shape with my thread that's on top, pass the tail of that thread through the hole that I've made, and I'm just going to keep making those knots until I've decided that I'm done. And I think I've got 5 or 6 knots here already, and you can see how the spiral is already starting to be created. Obviously, when you're working close up, it'll be a little bit easier for you to see. So number 4, pass through the hole. Always going to the left because it is a left-hand knot. And pulling that taut. Now let's say that I would like to move on to another color. I'm going to take my green thread and I'm going to set it aside, and let's say that I want purple to be next. I'm going to put purple out to the left the way that my green one was before, so I got a little extra fuzz there. And I'm going to gather the pink with my green so that they are my drones now. Still making that left-hand knot. Now I'm making a number 4 using my purple, overlapping my drones. I've created this hole and I pass the tail of the thread through the hole. And then I'm just going to keep making this left-hand knot. Oops. until I decide that I don't want purple on top anymore. So it's very repetitive. It makes it a very basic, nice, introductory style of friendship bracelet. And obviously, if you wanted to make this into an anklet or if you wanted to make it into a necklace or something, that would be fine as well. You'll notice that sometimes as the twisting happens, your thread is going to want to turn on you up there, but you're still going to keep making that left knot. And then when you want to switch colors, obviously pink would be next for me. I'm going to set my purple aside. I'm going to set my green one aside because I've already used that one on top. They're going to become my drones. And I'm going to start using pink, making that left knot over the purple and the green. Every once in a while you're working, and especially once you get a little bit further than this, you're going to want to take your work and measure it around your wrist to see how long it is. With the spiral, 36 inches is probably a little bit long thread-wise, but I think I said earlier, it's always better to have a little bit extra than not enough. So measure it against your wrist, and then that way you'll be able to finish it off by tying a knot and then cutting off your tails at the end. So let's say that we're finished. I'll show you on this example. If I started here and I tied a knot and I did my spiral, when I get to the end, I'm just going to wrap those 3 threads around my finger and pull a knot to secure it at the other end. Make sure that when you cut off that you leave yourself long enough tails to tie. Just a little modification for those of you that might be looking for something a little bit different to do. This is a really old charger cord, but I started doing the spiral around this charger cord instead. Obviously, if you wanted to do this with thread, it's going to take you a whole lot of thread. So I've been using yarn. And what you would do is just tape this down the same way you would your thread, but tape down the cord. Tie a piece of yarn around it and a couple of knots to get it secure. And then all you're going to do, let me tape this really quick, make it a little bit easier to work with here, is you're going to take your yarn and make a left hand knot over your cord and pull it through the hole. Hold the cord taut and then pull up your knot. If you wanted to switch colors, that would be fun. You would just end your yarn and tie another color to the end of it and then keep going until you get to the end of your cord. So this is the end of our 3-color single spiral video, basic crafts. Thank you and have a good day.